I was venting that I'm not getting enough engagement, and my daughter said, it's because that stuff that you're posting is stupid and nobody cares about, which, I was like, well.
Don't you love how kids say things like that? Thanks.
And so she said, what people are looking for is what kind of toothpaste they should buy. Because there's so much confusion. If you go in the market, there's aisles and aisles of toothpaste. Nobody knows. So that same very night, we went out to Target. We did this one, kind of funny, stupid post. And we got 14 million views out of that.
Welcome to the Authentic Dentist Podcast. Join Dr. Allison House of House Dental in Scottsdale and Sean Zayas, founder of Zana, as they lead dentists deeper along the journey of authenticity to reach greater fulfillment in their professional lives and to deliver remarkable patient experiences.
We have Dr. Miles Madison here, a periodontist in Beverly Hills, specializing in full arch dental implants and advanced perio procedures. Dr. Madison has become a social media influencer with 10 million likes and 30 million views. He has a son, Ethan, who graduated from UOP Dagoni in 23 and is currently attending specialty school in periodontics as well. A fun fact, Dr. Madison is a drummer, and his favorite drummer is John Bonham from Led Zeppelin. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Miles Madison.
Thank you so much for being here. We appreciate this.
Thank you. It's my absolute honor and pleasure to be here. And what an amazing event we've had.
It really is. Yes, I've met so many interesting people, so it's been a gift. So what I wanted to know, though, is I wanted to hear a little bit about your journey and how you got here. So I'm wondering, tell me why you became a dentist.
So I started college when I was 16, actually. And at that time, I didn't feel like doing 4 years of college, 4 years of medical school, and then another 12 years of specialty training to, go into the medical field. So I honestly didn't know a whole lot about dentistry, but I felt like, I always knew I wanted to be in healthcare, and I thought, it's just a 4 year of undergrad and 4 year of dental school, and I'll be done. But, little did I know.
That was the myth we all had, yes.
And then the first year of dental school, when we were doing plaster casts and doing carving in wax, I was thinking, oh my gosh, what did I get myself into? This is not, because I was like a biologist and a microbiologist, but I did learn that I had this aptitude for, working with my hands. And in fact, nowadays, if I'm not doing something with my hands, some sort of like micro movements, I really crave it. So it's become, a big part of how I express my artistic ability, so to speak. But when I was in dental school, I was doing microbiology research with Dr. Michael Newman, who at the time was the president of the Academy of Perio. And he took me under his wings. He thought that I had some aptitude for this field, and honestly, it was the best decision I ever made. I think perio is one of the best specialties in dentistry, and it's changed so much since I was in my residency that I've seen this entire evolution in implant dentistry, in microsurgery, and it's evolving every day. So it's just been an absolute blessing for me.
I'd love to hear what that looks like. What did it look like when you were in residency, and what did the evolution look like?
When we were in residency, we were the first resident class. I went to UCSF across town here that actually was placing dental implants. So before then, implant was not a standard of care. It was actually a fringe, and it was looked down upon. Dentists that were doing implant dentistry, everybody thought they're like, on the, they're snake oil salesmen, because there were a lot of failures with it, early on implants. So, but we were formally trained, and I did 15 implants by the time I graduated my residency, which was the most I think anybody had done up to that point. But nowadays, I think they do 15 implants in probably 2 weeks in a residency course.
What kind of implants were you placing?
Yeah, we were placing the original Brandemark implants. That's at that point, I was like really the only thing that was sanctioned that you could do. And then what eventually became Straumann, they used to call it ITI implants back in the day. We also placed some of those. But it was a very methodical, rigorous, like to place an implant, you had to drape the whole room like an OR environment. You put the implants in and you had to wait 9 months before you uncovered them. There was no immediate load or anything like that. So it was a very like time consuming and difficult procedure to do. But, over the years, we discovered that there's ways where you can improve the quality of care, but shorten the treatment time, make it much more efficient, much more affordable. And I've seen that whole entire evolution. And we can place implants now that you can, virtually indistinguishable from natural teeth, whereas back then they really didn't look like natural teeth. So there's been that big evolution as far as the aesthetics part. And of course, nowadays we can take a patient that has terminal teeth, that there's no other options for them, remove all of their teeth and give them, a functioning set of teeth the next day or that same day, which is completely life-changing for these patients.
It is life-changing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
And that would, honestly, were things of dreams. Like we could never even dream back then that we could do something like this.
It is amazing just to think how far we've come.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here thinking you didn't have cone beams. You didn't. How would you even place an implant? Like, I
Yeah.
can't fathom.
Right. There were no cone beams. If we wanted a CT scan, we had to send them to the hospital and that they did hospital grade CT, in these big films that would come and, you would have to like make sense of it.
Wow.
So yeah, PAs and panoramics were our best friends. And we had all these ways of figuring out how much distortion is in a panoramic and do math. And yeah, but we did it. It was like, when back in the day, you had the Thomas Guide. I mean, you're much younger than me. And you had to go
No.
somewhere, you would have to look in the Thomas Guide and you still got there somehow.
Yes.
But
yes.
now without navigation, I can't go from here, 2 streets over. I get lost.
With being on the cutting edge of anything
Right.
means you didn't just train like down the street. You probably had to do quite a continuing education.
Yeah.
Where all did you go to learn all this?
Yeah. So, we're lucky because the Perio Academy, Academy of Perio actually puts on a very nice annual symposium meetings, and they bring a lot of, high class, really well versed individuals. So we got a lot of training.
Like you.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we got a lot of those trainings. We all stand on shoulders of others, and a lot of these newer concepts were coming out of Europe, to be honest with you. And then subsequent to that, I've taken some courses in Europe because they were, a little bit more forward thinking than we were here. But, I take continuing education all the time. It's not something that I stop. I think I have this.
Even
hunger
today?
for it. Even today. My son knows if I have 5 minutes, I get on YouTube and see who, this new person is, then what they have to offer. Because even if I learn one little nuance, that's going to improve the way I, operate just that much more. And it's just incremental changes is what we're looking for.
I believe that too. People always ask me, so when do you know everything? I was like, I don't know. When I die? I
Yeah.
mean, do you ever know
We're never gonna
everything?
know everything. We're never going to know. Yeah.
It's that constant thirst for knowledge, I think
Right.
is what you were saying.
Right.
Yeah. So how do you have the time to do this? Do you set so many hours aside for continuing education, or how are you doing this in a private practice setting?
So, if I'm on, nowadays it's easier because there's a lot of online content that you can access. So, I can do that after hours. I tend not to do much outside of managing my patients during during my work day. So as you know, like I'm involved with social media, I don't shoot any content during the day or in between patients at all. So I keep that part of my practice very separate from each other. Same thing with continuing education. But I know what courses are coming up. If I have to take some time off, like, this amazing event here, I do that because I believe truly it recharges you and you go back to the office, refreshed with new ideas. And I also like the camaraderie and the energy that you get when you're with other like-minded people. And that's something that I encourage, like when I talk to younger dentists and I mentor them, I always tell them that dentistry can be isolating if you decide to go down that path, but it's actually much more rewarding when you're talking to people and you're enjoying, what a beautiful profession it is. So that's what I do. I try to cut some time away from my practice so I can go recharge and learn new things.
I love that. Tell me about the social media. How did you get involved in that?
I was posting a lot of content. I started, I think, around 2017. And it was mostly centered around teaching other dentists and periodontists some of the more advanced techniques in like gum grafting or dental implants and things of that nature. And surprisingly, I started getting a lot of engagement from dentists, not just in the US, but across the globe. But the engagement, as the algorithms changed, the engagement started dropping. And, we were having dinner and I was venting that I'm not getting enough engagement. And my daughter said, it's because that stuff that you're posting is stupid and nobody cares about, which, I was like, well.
Don't you love how kids say things like that? Thanks.
And so she said, what people are looking for is what kind of toothpaste they should buy. Because there's so much confusion. If you go in the market, there's aisles and aisles of toothpaste. Nobody knows. So that same very night, we went out to Target. We did this one, kind of funny, stupid post. And we got 14 million views out of that, as soon as we posted it.
I guess she was right.
Yeah, so she was absolutely right. And as soon as I saw that that's where the need is, then I changed, I pivoted, as people say, and started posting content more geared toward educating the consumer. So, and it's fun. It's like my creative side comes out, through that. So I have a lot of fun with it. I'm like, when I'm showering, I'm thinking like what content I should do. How can I make it funny? How can I, say it a little bit better so people understand? So it's just something that I do all the time. So it's really funny.
Wow.
And it's, it's exciting for me.
So is your daughter in marketing? How did she come up with this?
No, she's actually a psychologist. So I guess she's in tune with the way people think and react. But she's my muse. So if I'm struggling with something, if I go to her, she's very straight and to the point. She tells me exactly how it should be.
I love that.
Yeah.
And then your son is a dentist.
My son's a dentist, graduated from UOP, and he's becoming a periodontist. He's has a year and a half left.
That's wonderful. So if you could give some advice to your younger self, what would you give? What do you wish you knew 20 years ago?
I'm very lucky in that I didn't really make any major mistakes or went down the wrong. Somehow I was fortunate enough that if there was a fork at the road, I picked the right path. And part of that was because I was very clear the kind of person I am and the outcome that I'm looking for. So I molded my profession for my personality. Like, I'm not the type of guy that likes to run from one operatory to another operatory, which is fine if somebody likes to do that, but it wasn't my style. So I knew I wanted to be in a private practice that's high end, that I can spend time with my patients. So because I had that vision, when things aligned themselves, with that vision, I gravitated toward it. So my advice to my younger self or any younger person is know yourself first and know what you want. And if anything else doesn't really jive with that, then you give it a big hell no. And just go down the path that gets you toward your goal.
I love that. My dad used to say, when there's a fork in the road, take it.
Yeah, you got to take one.
You got to take
You
one.
can't just stand there. Right.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I really appreciate your time today and
Thank you so much.
all you've done for dentistry.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to the Authentic Dentist Podcast. To join Allison and Sean on this journey, hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode. Here's to your success. Express yourself fully. Live authentic.